Hi everybody, it's the Irish Scrapper back with another tutorial. Today I'm going to demonstrate a couple of new techniques, and this is the card that I'm going to be showing you how to make. So I suppose, yeah, let's get on and I'll talk my way through this. One of the new techniques that I've been using lately is to use my acrylic block to make my background designs. This is kind of another effort that I did. So how I achieve that is I take you pick a choice of colours from your distressing. So I've chosen shaded lilac, spiced marmalade and crushed olive. I'm also going to be using walnut stain, and that's purely for edging. So what I do is I've got some white paper down here underneath. It's not very heavyweight, but it's not paperweight either, it's in between. So I take my spiced marmalade distressing and I press it along the top of an acrylic block. Get a nice bit of coverage on. And then the next one I take is the shaded lilac and put that down in the middle like that. And then finally I'm using the crushed olive on the bottom. And I find the results are quite consistent actually. Okay, so once you have your colour laid down the way you like it, just take some water and just give it a light spritz. And then press it down firmly onto your paper. And leave it there for a little while. Now obviously there will be different changes and what have you. You'll never get it exactly the same, but it is fairly consistent. Okay, so I'm going to lift this up now, and that's produced my background. Now I'm going to dry that off using my heat gun, just for speed. You can let it dry by itself if you don't have a heat gun. And before I go to the bother of cutting it out, you decide what background stamps you're going to use. Like this one, I've used different stamps to this. I quite like this. So this is the set that these particular stamps came from. They're a Sizzix die set. Hero Art. So I'll put the name and the link below. I don't know what this is actually called. So I'm going to use this particular stamp, and I'm going to use the little dragonfly, which should be stuck here. Oh, here we go. These are the stamps I was using earlier. So okay, the dragonfly is on, and you know, I might do it in archival black. So stamp up the little dragonfly and place him wherever you want, and I'll get rid of him and put on my little flower, and I think I'll stick with the archival black, which is good because if this is still damp the archival won't bleed. So, and decide what way you want to put them. Just do half one here, like that. Okay. The next thing I do is I cut it out real rough, staying quite near the edge of the ink. You don't have to be too precise. And this is still a little bit damp because the page seems quite limp. Okay, then I take my Tim Holtz Distresser and just pull it down the edge to make the edge rough, like that. And then what I do next is I take the walnut stain and just ink the edges. And of course you can use any colour that you like. I've just chosen these colours. And it does mute the background colour a little bit if you bring it in around like that. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of black cardstock and I'm going to mount my coloured piece onto the piece of black cardstock like that, which I've cut just slightly bigger. And I'm going to go from here now to my sewing machine and I'm going to actually sew this on. But before I do that, I'll just put a little bit of double-sided tape and it'll hold it in place for me. Like that. So I'll just go now to the... Now I can assure you I know absolutely nothing whatsoever about sewing machines. I bought this one in Lidl. It didn't cost a whole lot, but I thought it might be a nice asset to have in my craft studio. So I know that if I put it on the letter A, it's straight, and B is zigzag. So I'm going to put it onto B. So I know what I'm going to be doing is a zigzag stitch. I'm putting it in, and the only way I can stay straight is if I use the side of the foot of the sewing machine and keep it against the black edge of the paper. That seems to work, it seems to keep it straight. So I'm going to start off by putting the needle in and off I go nice and slowly. Now I know I need the needle in before I turn. Lift the foot and turn. Now I'm going to keep the middle of the foot in line with this piece of card here and hope for the best. Gosh. And turn again. And I know now that I'm too far over that way, but listen, it's all about handmade, so I'm going to wing it here. And the last bit. And then if I put this button down, it'll backstitch. So that's it. And I'm going to pull it off here. And all I do then is simply pull the threads into the back of the card like that, and I will stick those down with a little bit of sellotape to hold them in place. Well, it's exciting to try something new, and stitching on card for me is quite new. Anyway, it's not perfect by any means, but it does add a little bit of texture and dimension to the finished card. Okay, I'll fiddle and get that piece to the back. Now, this is my base card, so as I'm here I'm going to go to A, and that'll give me a straight stitch, and I'm just going to go around the edge of the card. So put the foot down, start myself off with the needle down, and the last row. Now, so I have a little bit of stitching around the base card as well. Pull all the threads into the back of the card. We'll fast forward this bit so that you don't have to painstakingly watch it. Now, and we'll go back now to the other part of the studio. Okay, so I've stitched around. I brought the loose threads into the back of the card and I've secured them with a bit of tape. Did the same on this. Okay, I'm thinking this is looking a little bit nakedy, so I'm deciding in my wisdom I'll put another one of these little flowers just here like that. Then I have a black jelly roll pen, and I just go along and pull out the branches, or the stems are a little bit empty. Like that. And I'm going to stamp a sentiment, and I think what I'll do is I'll put best wishes. Best wishes is great, it kind of stand for anything. Maybe not. Maybe congrats. Again, in archival. Just put it there like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this is just craft card. I'm going to use the walnut stain, and I'm going to edge the card with walnut stain, and that gives the white stitching a little bit of a pop. And I'm going to do the same. I've cut a piece of gold cardstock as another layer. So I'm going to put the layer with, this is a black layer that I cut. So this card is 6 inches by 6 inches, and I cut a square of black card which is 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches. And it's just, as luck would have it, just allowing the stitching to peep through. I didn't think that one through very well. So I'll stick that layer down. Okay, so that's the base layer. And then I'm going to ink up the edge of the piece of gold, which is just slightly bigger again than the one I've stitched. Okay, and I'm going to adhere that down. ATG is acting up a little bit, it's clumping. Okay, I'm going to put that over here, trying to leave the same amount of the gap between all sides, like that. And then I thought it was nice to put some little bit of foliage along here. So again, I'm going to do that in the archival black. And then I'm going to pop this particular element up on some dimensionals. And the trick is, if you put your nail in the middle of the dimensionals, it makes it a bit easier to go along and take the backing off it. Okay, so I'm going to layer that, leaving the same distance between the top and the bottom, and trying to match the same distance here to there. Okay, so that's the finished card. A little bit different because we've used the block to create the background of the focal point. We've used a little bit of stitching, and the fact that it's not perfect I think only lends itself to it being a handmade card. So have a go and see what you come up with. Try your ideas and mix and match the colours, and if you're pleased maybe you'll post it on the Irish Scrapper and let me have a look. Okay, join me again real soon for another tutorial.